So recently I was met with a challenge. I had to figure out how to display my receiver, my turntable, and ideally some records with a vertical unit, and I realized there's not too much information or options out there. So what I've done for you is I'm taking my research and what I found and I'm sharing it with you so that you can inform yourself when you want to get a good turntable stand, and I'm also going to share my favorite ways to store your records. So stick around to see what my picks are. Now this problem actually can be remedied fairly easily if you have a lot of space this way. I am in a small New York apartment, so I really only had a small footprint to make sure I had my stuff set up. I also have these massive Fluon speakers here, so it takes up even more space than usual. I spent a while researching what was the best way to display my turntable, to display my receiver, which at the time was my really thick Pioneer from the 70s. Now it's also thick, but not quite as thick, my Marantz PM7000N. There was just nothing really available that had a shelf big enough for the receiver and also had some record storage solution underneath. You could get a gear rack, but that's more for people that have like 4 or 5 or 6 different pieces, whether it's a tape deck or a DAC or whatever you may have stacked in there. It's not really for the vinyl collector like us. So what I did was I looked at my options, and there are a couple that I really liked that I want to show you guys. I have recently upgraded to the Linephono because they did something awesome. They listened to advice and they changed it so that the second shelf was 2 inches taller, allowing those vintage receivers to fit in perfectly. That was the biggest complaint I had with them and the reason I hadn't pulled the trigger to that point. But now that they did that, there's really no reason to not own this beautiful piece. As I mentioned, there's the 2-inch bigger shelf for thicker receivers. This is a really nice touch to allow your receiver to have room to breathe. I really like this sleek, rounded design that they do. It looks nice and modern next to a lot of my other furniture in the room. They added these little now spinning grooves on all the shelves, and one even behind the turntable, so you can display the record you're playing, which I think is a nice touch also. And my favorite thing is that each shelf fits about 100 records. If you have a massive queue like I do, this is invaluable. And this headphone cable hook on the side was a nice little thought as well. There's also room on top for not just my turntable, but the cake cover that goes around it, which I was a little worried about until I saw it, and it was perfect. The Linephono did not come pre-assembled, but I'm pretty bad when it comes to building things, and I was able to do it in about 20-30 minutes with just a hammer and a little bit of brain power, and it came together beautifully. This thing retails for $240, but it is worth every penny if you are looking for a way to put your receiver and turntable so you're not stacking them. That's another important thing. A lot of people will stack directly on top of each other. I used to do that back in the day if you look at my old videos, and it is not great, especially if there's a chance for overheating. This is a way to do it without needing a ton of space sideways and to look good in the process. This is my #1 pick. My second choice, which you guys probably saw in my room tour video, is the Darla'Studio 66 crates. I love this a lot, and if you're looking to spend a little less than the Linephono, this is a nice second place runner-up. I really like these rustic boxes that they do. If you're looking for a style like this for your room or living room, these fit in perfectly. They look handmade because they are, and each shelf holds about 60 records, so not quite as much as the Linephono, but definitely a sizable amount. Another perk is that it comes fully assembled and it's made in the USA. This one retails for $160, so if you're looking to spend a little less, like I said, a nice substitution, and it's my #2 pick. And as for storing your records, I still believe after years and years, the ultimate best way to do it, cost effectively and aesthetically, is the IKEA, Kallax, and Expedit. The Expedit is a retired line. It was replaced by the Kallax. They're more or less the same, but they fit records perfectly. They look nice as IKEA furniture can look. I can't think of a better solution, especially if you have a big collection, without building out a massive custom cabinet that could cost hundreds if not thousands of dollars. If you wanted to store your turntable and receiver, you can always do that on a sideways, maybe 2x4 Kallax and do it next to each other. I don't have the space for that, but if you do, that might remedy your issue where you need to get some kind of vertical stand like I did. My most important tip of this video is you do not have your speakers on the same platform as your turntable and receiver. The vibrations can really dampen the sound and even cause issues with the needle jumping. So be careful with that, and like the Offspring said, you gotta keep them separated. Alright guys, this was a little tip video for you going into the holidays. Hopefully if you're looking to get a turntable stand for someone in your life or yourself, this helped you out a lot. I'm gonna link in the description to all of this below so you can check them out for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Please let me know if I'm forgetting about any storage solutions that may be useful to the vinyl community. And thank you for watching this video. More coming soon. Take it easy.